Breaking, Shakur Stevenson set to fight Devin Haney at 140. Breaking into this moment in boxing right now, Shakur Stevenson has just become one of the most talked about fighters of the year, and a looming matchup with Devin Haney has the sport buzzing in a way few events do. After a dominant win where Stevenson captured his fourth world title in 4 weight classes, many in the boxing world are turning their attention to what could be next, and for plenty, that next fight is Haney at 140. Shakur's performance wasn't just a win on paper, it shook up rankings and made him one of the most unpredictable forces in the game today. Right now, Stevenson sits at the top of multiple divisions and is widely regarded as one of the best pound-for-pound fighters on the planet. ESPN's latest rankings reflect that he's climbed higher among the elite after dismantling Teofimo Lopez Jr. With superior boxing, ring control, and body work, landing more punches and controlling distance from start to finish. Meanwhile, Devin Haney remains one of the most undefeated and decorated champions in the sport. Haney has held undisputed lightweight titles and has since been focused on adding world titles at higher weights. Over the last couple of years, he's proven he's more than a skillful boxer, he's a champion comfortable pushing the boundaries of weight classes while still dominating elite competition. This potential matchup resonates for one reason. It's a real fight that boxing fans have been asking for, not some hype machine, phantom, or an exhibition. But getting from fans want it to we're locked in to fight has been anything but smooth. Let's unpack the full story, the backdrop, the drama, the possibilities, and how this fight could redefine both fighters' legacies. Shakur Stevenson entering the 140-pound division has been one of the most effective moves of his career so far, after defeating Teofimo Lopez Jr. At that weight to claim the WBO Junior Welterweight Championship, Stevenson has solidified himself not just as a lightweight champion, but as a legitimate star in the next division up. He's defending heavier punchers, using elite footwork and timing to make opponents miss and pay, and now sits among the most respected fighters across weight classes. What makes Stevenson's rise so captivating is how clean and disciplined his approach is. He doesn't rely on brute force or wild aggression. He wins rounds because he outboxes people, landing more accurate shots, setting traps with the jab, and using angles that most fighters would never see until decades in the sport. But here's where it gets complicated. The history between Stevenson and Haney goes back years, and it's not all smooth sailing. In the past, negotiations for a fight fell apart over financial splits and timing, most notably a proposal where Haney's camp offered Stevenson a 25% share of the purse, which Stevenson rejected as far too low for a fight of that magnitude. That moment left a lasting mark, because it highlighted one of the central themes in boxing negotiations. Both fighters believe their value in the sport is unmatched at certain stages. Stevenson was already a 2-division champion and unbeaten at the time. Haney was undisputed at lightweight. Their camps couldn't bridge the gap. Instead of meeting in the ring, that opportunity vanished, and both fighters moved forward on different paths. Still, time didn't erase the tension. Recently, something shifted. Devin Haney publicly called out Stevenson on social media, declaring them the biggest fight in boxing and expressing his interest in seeing it happen. That alone lit up the boxing world, because Haney isn't a guy who makes casual statements without thinking how they'll hit the public. Shakur's response was calm, calculated, and very intentional. He reminded Haney to be careful what you ask for, suggesting that a fight could indeed materialize without committing to dates or terms. This moment is important because it hints at a real negotiation dynamic. Neither fighter is dismissive anymore. Instead, they are signaling readiness without making a mistake in contractual language, which in boxing can make or break huge deals. Now let's talk context. Devin Haney's career path over the last couple of years has been one of evolution. After capturing undisputed lightweight glory, he moved up in weight, beating boxers in higher divisions to prove he belonged with the larger men. Each step he takes adds weight to the argument that Haney cares about legacy as much as records. The sport respects that. And while some critics question whether Haney's style sells super high-octane excitement, there's no debating his effectiveness. Wins continue to stack, defeats remain non-existent, and every major name in the division gets asked about him in post-fight interviews. But why does weight matter so much here? Stevenson has been campaigning at 140 and established himself as a force there. Haney, on the other hand, has been moving between lightweight and welterweight divisions recently, fighting bigger names, and in some camps looking toward the long term as a fighter who isn't afraid to challenge size. This makes a potential Stevenson matchup intriguing, because if it happens, it won't be at an arbitrary weight, it will have to be at a level both fighters feel competitive, meaningful, and legacy-defining. And here's the crux. Boxing is as much mental warfare as physical. Stevenson's skill set is deliberate and surgical. Haney's disciplined and adaptive. Pair them together and you're not just watching two undefeated fighters step into a ring, you're watching two of the most cerebral athletes in the sport trying to outthink each other while trading leather. Even though this fight isn't officially signed yet, the fact that both men are openly discussing it, with Haney initiating and Stevenson gently responding, shows how serious this matchup now feels in the sport's hierarchy. Polls, fan discussions, and social buzz have grown, and promoters can't ignore that conversation anymore. This all suggests that even if negotiations are complicated, public demand and fighter willingness are aligning in a way that could force a deal to happen, assuming the right terms are put on the table. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does this matter? There are tons of great fighters in boxing today, but very rarely do two undefeated elite talents reach the peak of their careers without already having fought each other. History shows that when these moments finally come together, when two fighters decide they want each other, not just easier names, the bout becomes more than just a title fight. It becomes a moment in the sport's narrative. Stevenson vs. Haney, if it happens, would be one of those moments. Fans have followed every move: the title wins, the promotional deals, the social media calls, the weight class decisions. Analysts compare styles. Fighters from other divisions chime in. It's not just talk, it's a real boxing moment where everything feels connected to legacy. Fighters like Muhammad Ali versus Joe Frazier, Pacquiao versus Marquez, even Mayweather versus Pacquiao. These weren't simply fights, they were episodes in the ongoing story of the sport. And today, Stevenson and Haney are writing a chapter of their own. At the end of the day, what fans want to see now is clarity. Will the fight be signed? At what weight? When? On which undercard? Who promotes it? Those details will shape how the matchup is remembered, but the fight itself, the idea of it, is already bigger than most real fights get before they are made official. That's how hot this conversation is in boxing circles right now. So here's where we stand today. A fight that could define a generation is in the realm of reality rather than rumor. Shakur Stevenson just added another historic championship to his legacy. Devin Haney continues to build his own unstoppable run across multiple weights. And now, the biggest question is not if they want to fight, it's when and where contracts will be signed. If you're watching this sport, this is the kind of storyline that actually matters. Not smoke and mirrors, but genuine possibility born from performance and reputation. Make sure you hit that like button if you appreciate deep breakdowns like this, subscribe for more updates because this story is evolving week by week, and drop a comment with your prediction. Who wins if Stevenson and Haney finally lock this fight in the ring?